Do we really need all this stuff to run a race? And if we do, how do we do it well? In this video, I'm going to share the secret that's going to unlock the potential of your long run to give you the best performance come race day. What's up everybody, I'm Alexander Tucker, and in this channel we dig into all things ultra running and adventure travel, where I share 15 years of ultra running experience in training, in racing, in gear, my suggestions for you, hopefully sharing some advice and inspiration along the way, and various stories of adventure travel from around the world. So hit subscribe to follow along for more of that. Anyway, so today we're going to get into long runs and why it's so important to your training. But not just that, we're going to talk about the secret key ingredient to make your long run the most effective that it can be to give you the best performance come race day. It will hopefully give you the strength and confidence that you need to deliver your best on race day. In this channel, I typically tackle most of the mindsets and strategies for ultra distance races. That's distances past the marathon level. But these strategies can apply to distances of all kinds for whatever race that you're training. If you're looking to do a half marathon and you're building up your distances to 8 or 10 miles, or if you're running your first marathon or want to improve on your marathon time and are going to be running 16, 18, maybe 20 mile distances for your long run, then I think these strategies could help you too. For longer distance races like a 50K, a 50 miler, 100K, 100 miler, maybe even longer, then what we're talking about is going to be absolutely imperative for your success on race day. And that key ingredient that we're talking about to maximize your long run is running your long run at a sample race. Basically going somewhere that mimics the location, the environment, the landscape, the terrain of the race that you are running, and running your long race at a race day environment. That could look like a variety of different things for you. It just depends on what your goal race is. The challenge that we face when training for races is that it is so hard to replicate the race day environment into our long run training. So if you have a 3 or 4 or 5 hour long run planned for your Saturday, you can go ahead and throw all this stuff out on the table, pack your gear, and go out there, but it's not going to be the same as race day because there are all sorts of external factors that are going to influence you on race day. So what we do is we try and find a race that is going to replicate all of those factors without having to go the full distance. So if you are training for a 50-mile race and are really hoping to bring your best, maybe finding a 30K or a marathon distance trail race that is going to replicate the same environment, the same terrain, the same factors that play in your goal race. It is so hard to replicate these things down to the T. Planning a race for your long run is going to add all of these external factors that will help you gain strength and confidence for your goal race. So using examples here, my goal race at the end of this month is Javelina 100. I have run this race 3 times now, and it is my goal to run a PR. I'm not really going to say what that time is, but hopefully we can celebrate together at the end of the month when I finish the race. And specifically training for that race, long runs means trying to get as much heat as you can during the day, trying to test your feet on long, faster trails, and then also applying my race strategies to those long runs. Unfortunately for me, I was able to find a race with some friends in the area that I'm going to go run this weekend called Back on the Ranch. So me and some friends have scheduled a 6-hour run for our long run this weekend. And since it is the race environment, I get to test out all of these strategies that I'm going to apply on race day at Javelina. So first I'm going to show you all the gear that I plan to use at Javelina that I am testing on my long run tomorrow for the 6-hour distance, show you the terrain, the strategies that I'm using to implement, and then specifically how they all respond to the heat of the day, which is going to be a blistering hot weekend, and how it all works out for the strategy of a test race in my long run. And then stick around till the end, and I'm going to share with you all the questions to ask yourself when heading into your sample long run that we get to learn from and become stronger runners for our ideal goal race. So for Javelina at the end of the month, this is all the stuff that I intend to use. This here is all the supplies, all the clothes, all the gear, all the fuel, all the extra amenities to be able to make this best and strongest race that I can run. Starting with the bottom to the top, shoes, I'm running in Kinvaras. These things are beat to death. You can see the tread on the side here, fully worn. I'll do about 30 miles in these tomorrow. Then I'll put those to bed. Socks, we are running in Njinjis. These are the toe socks. I love running in these because they really do help keep the blisters at bay. I will have all links for this stuff in the description below, so if you're looking to try out anything that I suggest for yourself, you'll find those links below. This is just a hat. This thing gives a little bit of extra room so I can dump ice in the top, keep my head cool, and it'll drip down over me in the hot sun. This is a really light, cooling, wicking shirt that I have from Patagonia. We'll see how this does tomorrow. I may end up using something else for javelina. And then 2-in-1s. These are Brooks 2-in-1s. I have about 3 pairs of my Brooks 2-in-1s. I wear them for most races. Additional help with cooling down, this is an ice bandana. You get to stuff ice on the inside, wrap it around your neck, and it keeps you cool back here. Hopefully that does the trick. I will also have arm sleeves for javelina, which I don't have with me right now. They're in storage. Also, I don't have my pack because my pack was really funky for my last runs and I threw it in the wash and it's now being washed. This is the pack that I use. It's a Salomon Advanced Skin 12. I love that pack. I've been using it on many races. This might be a little overkill for javelina since I don't need that amount of space on the pack, but it's still going to be helpful to have just in case I want to bring extra fluids with me. It does hold 2 bottles on each side and there is extra space in the side for lots of gels, fuel, and extra bottles if I need to use them to cool down or if I feel like I'm running out of fluids between each lap. Those are 500 ml bottles. Most races now are cupless races. I bring cups just in case I need to fuel up with something else at the aid station. A little bit pickle juice, Coke, some ginger ale, what have you. And I am fueling with Tailwind. I'm bringing all of my own hydration for these races. Every race has a different fueling option. I'm using Tailwind for javelina. It's pretty easy on my digestion and on my gut, so I end up sticking with this. It is both an electrolyte and carb drink, and it's pretty even drip for me. I fill 1 bottle with water and I fill 1 with electrolyte drink and I go with that. And I try and keep up with 2 an hour. I sweat a lot and I have a very high electrolyte content in my sweat, which means I have to keep putting it down to stay up with my energy. When I go out for multiple laps and I hit aid stations, I fill up a scoop of this and bring a few with me so that I have them out there on the race course. Scratch, this is my post-run fueling. I bring that because I'm definitely going to want to refuel because the next day I'm going back out and I'm doing another 5 hours on Sunday. This is my big training weekend this weekend. Tomorrow is sample race day, and then Sunday I'm just gonna go out and keep running, see how long I go. And then from there, sunglasses. It is gonna be a hot, bright, sunny day. Gotta wear sunglasses. And then here we have our fuel and the support structure to make our body keep moving. Nipple bandages, I do cover up because I get chafing here. Chafing is the worst when it is extra hot, you're sweating, you're cooling down. You get all of that salty sweat going in all places in your body. And then with all your clothes and your vest, you get a lot of rubbing. So I do cover the nipples, keeps the chafe down. Same with Body Glide. I'll keep one of these in my bag just in case I feel a little bit of rubbing somewhere out on the course in the unmentionable areas. Sunscreen. I do love this sunscreen. I use it on my face and my neck, and then I also have a different one for my arms and legs. And then fuel. I'll use varying kinds of fuels. I run with Goo, I run with Martin, sometimes I run with Roctane. You name it, I've tried it all. For me, I like a simple and consistent trip of carb and electrolytes. I will bring Noon tabs and throw them in my shaker bottle and have a bottle or 2 if I feel like I just need to change it up from the Tailwind. When I'm out on the course, I bring salt tabs with me. I run very high in my salt loss. I did a sweat concentration test, which I highly recommend if you're looking to do something that is going to improve your race performance over the long term. Helps you find out what the concentration of your electrolyte loss is within your sweat. I'll leave a suggested service for that in the description below too. I found out that I not only sweat a lot, but I have a very high electrolyte concentration within my sweat. So I bring salt tabs with me no matter where I go. I put them in my vest pouch and I do probably 1 or 2 an hour depending on what I need based on the fuel that I'm using. Additionally, if I'm getting tired of Noon, I just keep an extra sachet of liquid IV, which is about 500 milligrams of electrolyte. I have tried all sorts of them. One of them that is not here, LMNT, I really do like, but if I have too much of it, I get some indigestion, and that is not good when you're running with it for a long time. And then fueling from there, I used to run with substantial foods and would fuel off of that and then get my electrolytes through liquid. But then being on the race course and exerting myself in the hot sun through the afternoon heat, working up intense climbs, then my body is overworking and trying to do something with the food that's in its stomach. So I actually now choose to just keep it as simple on my gut as possible. Try not to overwork my stomach. Get little nibbles where I can of foods like Swedish fish, or Martin bars. Other things I like, gummy bears, little chocolate bars, pretzels. I do like mini pretzels. And what I do is I have to eat them very slowly so that I don't get all bottled up here. Most of what I take in over the race course is going to be things like energy chews and gels. Between this and my electrolyte drink, it gives me about 90 grams of carbs an hour, which is about what I'm shooting for. 75 to 100 grams, somewhere in that sweet spot. So I go through a lot of these, but they're pretty easy on the stomach. The problem is, the longer the race goes, the less tired you get of eating these things, which is inevitable. Last thing you want to be doing after 20 hours is ripping off another top of this and putting it in your mouth. But you can say that with just about anything. Now, there are all sorts of other additional things that people choose to do for race day and preparing. I'm going to have a cooler, so I will have some sandwiches and food in that cooler that I will be able to nibble on when I'm done. For emergencies, I do have a tiny emergency kit that I keep at headquarters and ginger chews in case my stomach starts to turn. So that's it. I'm going to try and keep it as simple tomorrow as possible, while also focusing on everything that I need for my target race. So now that we got that covered, let's lace up for back on the ranch. 6 hours tomorrow up in Los Olivos, California. Let's go. What you see is, I think, what we got today. Dusty, pretty exposed. It's going to be hot. Actually, some people are leaving because it's a little too hot. I can't blame them. But fortunately for me, I'm training for a desert race, so helps me. Let's get to it. Jonathan here. Bam. John boy, how you doing? People are falling over the trail. It's like, give it another 2 laps, it's gonna be carnage out there. So I'm gonna leave the camera because there's no point in bringing you. I'm not gonna use you. I just have to survive now. But we're moving well and our brains are clear. Let's go. Wrapped 6-hour run. I did 9 laps, 9 and just about 9.5. Holly did 9 and 2 miles, 31 miles, 6 hours, and about 4,000 feet of gain. And did it all in about 105-degree heat, which is perfect for a javelina race. Let's go hang out at the headquarters, see how everybody's doing over there. Magic of the day.
Yeah.
Ice.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, but we gotta go because thank you.
All right, we're back. I think it went well. You probably know more than I do at this point, but I am feeling confident about the strategies and trust that this is going to be the right way to head into race day at Javelina 100. Now, as promised, here are a few questions that you want to be asking yourself when you head off to your sample race for your long run. First that I think about is, how is my body going to respond to the elements and the environment of race day? So it isn't just putting your shoes on, getting all the stuff that you need to go out for a run. It's asking myself, how did my body respond to the heat, to the environment of the race? Is it a fully exposed race? Is it through the woods? Is there a lot of muddy surfaces? Is there a lot of wet river crossing? All of these things are going to affect how your body is going to react at that sample race. Making a note of these things for race day is going to help you better prepare. If your body is not responding well to the heat, then you know that you need to prepare even more for the heat on your potential goal race. Additionally, if you are new to this and have not yet towed the line at many races, your sample race is going to help you learn about the nerves that you feel come race day. I don't care who you are, everybody feels a sense of nervousness and anxiousness when they toe the line at their dream goal race. You get this feeling welling up inside you. Half of it is, I want to hug every single person at the starting line, and the other half is, I could really puke right now. Combination of both of those, excitement and nervousness, and everybody responds to that differently. So make note of how you feel on your long run at your sample race. If your stomach gets all bound up and you feel the nerves of the race, and it means that you might not feel comfortable eating for too long. So you're going to want to go out slow and steady rather than too strong. Then as your nerves calm down, you'll be able to put more fuel into your system to keep you going. And as with the increased tension of your nerves, there are also spectators at your race day. What does it feel like to run with spectators and volunteers at the aid station? If that's new for you, it's going to be a new contribution to how you feel at your long run. So making note of what it's like to be surrounded by people who are watching you run. Now, to some people that is not a problem at all, but to others it's a big factor on how they feel when they run. And of course, as we said before talking about our race gear, we want to test all of our race gear. What does it feel like at your sample race to be coming through an aid station and reaching for that gel that you were looking to fuel with? If it's in the wrong pocket, it might not feel comfortable. So you want to get a good sense of that, not just in your long run out in your Saturday morning trail run, but also at race day to know how long does it take for me to take this pack off and refuel, to rehydrate with what I have in my pack. It's a really hard thing to get a sense of that when you're out there on your long run. And finally, the question that I like to ask, how does this test my race strategy? I like making a plan for my racing, which gives me a very clear understanding of what my pace is, how long I expect to take to go between aid stations, how frequently I'm fueling with, and what is that fuel? How often am I dropping a pill of electrolytes? Where am I going to be filling up my bottles? All of these things I want to be clear in my mind, but it's a different thing from planning to executing it. So testing your race strategy at your sample race is going to help you find the weaknesses of it, what works and what doesn't. So these are all things that a long run at a sample race are going to give you the benefit of. There are all sorts of other things that we learn racing through the years. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any takeaways from your experiencing running and training and running sample races or long runs building up to your goal race, leave it in the comment. I would love to hear because I'm still learning too. Now, I mention this from time to time. I gathered a lot of this experience by working with a coach. As a coach in my own life who helps people not just get clear on their fitness goals, but on their life and career goals too, it is my passion to think about this and create plans of strategy to give people the support for action. Looking for somebody to help partner with you to accomplish the goals that you have set for yourself, either getting clear on what they are or how to accomplish them, then I would love to hear from you. Head to my website, Alex D. Tucker, and book a sample session. It would be my gift to you. Love to hear from you. Anyway, hit subscribe before you leave. I wish you all the best on all your training and whatever race that you got coming up. Safe travels, happy trails, take care.